Welcome everyone to the final round of the Quantbox Chennai Grandmasters. Today, the champion of the tournament is going to be crowned. We have Grandmaster Arjun Erigaisi, who is in with a chance to win this tournament in spite of his previous round loss against Nihal Sareen. And there we have the arbiter Gopakumar talking to Arjun. Now, how can Arjun win this tournament? Well, that's because he's currently on 3.5 out of 6. His opponent, Alireza Firouzja, is on 4 out of 6, which means that if Arjun manages to beat his opponent, he surpasses him. But to beat Firouzja with the black pieces is not going to be easy because Alireza has been rock solid. He won his first 2 games in the tournament. He beat Gukesh, he beat Pranesh, and then he has had 4 draws. And there you see Alireza coming in, very relaxed, but also knows that this is a big game. And this year has been pretty good for Alireza Firouzja. He's been playing really good chess, and here is his chance to get another title under his belt. A handshake there. And this is going to be super exciting now. I'm actually very excited whether Arjun will be able to beat Alireza Firouzja or not. And this, dear friends, is the Neuro game of the day. In chess and in life, lack of attention and focus costs you games and key moments. Instead of going for that third cup of coffee or that energy drink that overstimulates you or gives you jitters, try Neurogum. It's viral in the US. It has a clinically proven blend of natural caffeine that gives alertness and L-theanine that gives you calm and stable focus without the jitters or the crash. Try Neurogum, link is in the description. Alireza opens the game with pawn to e4, and now very interesting choice that Arjun can make. Will he go for e5, which is solid? No, he goes for the Sicilian. Let's go, full fight. Will Alireza play the open Sicilian? No, he plays the Sicilian Alapin, considered as one of the solid weapons because you can play d4 and grab the center. But before that, Arjun plays d5. And now notice that when the queen takes the pawn, the knight can no longer come to c3 because there's a pawn already there on that square. So unfortunately, you can't do that. Pawn to d4 played, striking in the center. You have knight to f6, bringing the knight out, and knight comes out to f3, defending the central pawn. Arjun plays e6. Now with this move, Arjun is essentially saying that, okay, I'll keep my bishop locked for the time being, but on the other hand, there won't be piece trades. I'm not taking on d4. I'll bring my knight out. Let's see. There'll be a different structure. Maybe he'll take here when we'll have 3 pawns versus 2 on the queen side, and I'll have a central majority. Or if he doesn't take, I might take and give him an isolated pawn. These are the things that could happen potentially. And now bishop to e7. Well, the main move is to take on c5. And by the way, Arjun also playing quickly, which means that he is in his preparation. He goes bishop e3, and this is a chance to win a pawn now with d takes c5, because then queens can get traded and the c pawn would be defended. So Arjun goes knight g4, still in his preparation, and Alireza plays bishop f4 after quite a long thing. He's dropped down to 1 hour 14 minutes. And look at Arjun there. He goes short castles now. It's quite possible that Arjun predicted that Alireza will go for the Sicilian Alapin. We have knight to a3 played. Now this knight usually goes to b5, threatening knight c7. At the same time, then can come back to d4 after the pawn trade. Arjun takes on d4. And now knight b5 isn't the best because I can take on c3 and trade queens, and there's no knight c7. So he takes back, knight takes d4. And all of a sudden, the knight on g4 is hanging. So you can take on d4, you can take here. He does take on a3, Arjun. I don't know if this is still his preparation, but he has completely spoilt white's queenside structure. B takes a3, taken by Firouzja. Now, for people who are very much oriented to static advantages, they might think, oh my god, white structure is broken. But on the other hand, the knight was hanging here. Imagine you went back knight f6. Then I can simply take or play bishop f3. So that's why e5, knight takes c6, attacking the queen. Now queen takes c6 can be taken, but he takes with the pawn to defend the queen. And at this point, Alireza can actually chop this off. Not queen d5. He can actually take on g4. He takes here. If Alireza was in an ambitious mood, he would play bg3 and fight for this. I think it's a very good position. But he takes on g4. If you take with the queen, I'll take back. You can take on g4. Queen takes g4 is also happening. So queen d1 taken. And after bishop takes d1, Arjun is going to pick up the bishop on f4. Now let's try to assess this imbalanced position. Who is the one trying for an advantage? Because white has doubled pawns, isolated pawn. Black also has isolated pawns. This one is doubled. Somehow, if you look at the position, it does feel that maybe a very small edge should go to white, should go to black actually. Because these double pawns are much more useful than the A double pawns. Now let's see if Arjun can actually try, because he must win if he wants to win the tournament. And that's not easy. Okay, firstly, rook d8. He goes rook f d8 here. And now rook to d4. He brings his rook up. And I can take. That's a nice move actually. He takes on d4. He was attacking the f4 pawn, by the way. So he takes. And now pawn takes d4. Takes back. And Arjun can go rook d8 to attack here. When maybe Firouzja will go after this pawn. So he goes king f8. He says, let me first take out the back rank problem. Later I can go f6 g5 as well. Rook c1. Putting pressure here on the c6 pawn. Rook comes to c8. Now if you play d5, I can simply take because the rook is defended. So he plays rook c5, attacking the bishop on f5. g6, defending the bishop. And now h4 played by Alireza. Okay, Arjun can bring the king in now. King e7, king d6 could be the plan. But he first plays h6. Not so sure about this move, but I guess the point is that h5, h6 is no longer possible. Bishop comes to c2. Now, any bishop trade would mean that the position would almost peter out to equality very soon. So Arjun goes back. He keeps the bishops on the board. He attacks the pawn on a2. Firouzja comes back, offers the bishop for a trade. 14 minutes for Alireza, 33 minutes for Arjun. You know, the position doesn't have too much meat, but at the same time, it's a very kind of a drawish position, but the pressure is high because the tournament championship is at stake. He comes back. By the way, CD5 was possible. I wonder what would have Alireza done, traded rooks or not. Okay, maybe it's also equal, but BD7 takes. Now rook takes. And if you take here, this is serious chances in this endgame with king coming out. So Alireza keeps the rooks on the board. He plays rook d5. Okay, maybe bishop e6. First brings the king to e7. And again, if you take here and play this thing, this is actually a lost endgame. Black is winning. The king is too close. So rook d4, rook f6 played, defending the pawn. Arjun defends this idea as well. So bishop a4, Alireza says, shall we trade the bishops? Arjun says, sorry, I don't want to. I want to fight on. Now the interesting part here is, where can the bishop go? Bishop e6, I come back. Bishop, yes. And so you have to play now bishop b3. if bishop d7, I'll go bishop a4. So you will have to put your bishop on f5, but then you lose the pawn, right, on f4. So bishop d7, and Alireza has somehow managed to create this situation where a bishop trade is imminent. Maybe bishop c8 can be tried, but he takes. Arjun thought bishop c8 was just too passive. Rook takes a4, attacking the pawn. You have to push it, a6. Is there any hope in this position for black? Alireza goes king h2. He's not even bringing his king to the center of the board. He's just putting it on h2. Maybe he'll put it on h3. Maybe he'll play g3. King h3. And the thing is, the other player who could have caught up with Arjun and Firouzja, in case if it is like, if it's a draw here, maybe Nodirbek Abdusataro, who is on 3.5 points. However, Nodirbek in a very bad position against Dmitry Andrekin. So that's the reason why now for Alireza, it's already clear a draw is more than sufficient for winning the tournament. Rook d5. And Alireza playing quickly there. King c6. Rook a5. And we are going to see a repetition coming in. King b6. I mean, Arjun would love to play on, but how should you continue? King can't come up. The rook is cutting off. My rook is tied to the defense of this pawn. Rook d7 could come in. King c6 played. Seems like a draw is imminent, and offer draw by Arjun. Alireza takes it, and Alireza Firouzja is the champion of the Quantbox Chennai Grandmasters with 4.5 points out of 7. A very clinical performance. 2 wins and then 5 draws. And you can see here Arjun saying maybe where bishop c2 I can play bishop g4 and then d5, some analysis they are doing. It was a very good opening choice. Very smart opening choice by Alireza for the championship game, I must say. He tried the Sicilian Alpine, didn't give his opponent any chances. And for Alireza, this is another feather in his cap. Meanwhile, Arjun, well, he almost had caught up with Alireza with 2 wins. And then somehow he lost a very, very key encounter to Nihal, which was a drawn game. And that didn't help his cause. Firouzja, by the way, with this tournament gains 7 ELO points and enters top 10 in the world once again. Arjun also gained a couple of rating points, which kept him on number 9 in the world. And, well, yeah, this was quite an exciting event. A big shout out to Firouzja. Arjun finished 3rd. 2nd place went to Dmitry Andrekin. A great result for him. And also shout out to Quantbox for sponsoring this event and MGD1 to organize it. Until then, guys, this is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye-bye.